exercise I call floating bubble meditation. What is floating bubble exercise? When your sleep is disturbed by too many jumpy thoughts and to-dos, this exercise can come in handy. When my mind was very active, and in the past, when I had trouble sleeping, I used to start writing in my journal or jot down things to do on a piece of paper. Since I started using my cell phone as a tool for reminders, I started adding thoughts to my to-do list on my phone as they popped up in my mind, even in the middle of the night. So although it helped me to get those things done later, I faced one problem. The phone distracted me. It invariably pulled my attention to other things like emails and messages due to the alerts. So when my eyes caught them, I felt the urge to check. And I would briefly think about checking them, but the thought to check never vanished. So one thing led to another, and my mind went off on a flurry of tangents. And then I also used to write down the issues that were bothersome. So sometimes it helped me to come up with options, and other times writing in detail of the bothersome events in the middle of the night was making me more awake. So I had noticed that when I jotted down even one word representing the things I wanted to do or an issue I wanted to work on, I could trick my mind into thinking that since I had noted it, I wouldn't forget. So it started bothering me. So I was able to sleep better most days, but not others. So I knew that writing helped me. So I needed to come up with something that would allow me to let go of my thoughts without making me more awake and worked up. I had learned a meditation technique called floating bubble meditation from one of my patients. So combining the two techniques, I came up with floating bubble exercise. Let me share with you guys when I did it first time. So my baby was little, and that was the first time I had traveled out of town, leaving my little baby. And so my mind was very, very active. And so I went to, and I had to go to the seminar 7 o'clock in the morning next day. And so my mind was like, I need to sleep. I need to sleep. If I don't sleep, I will be so tired. I won't be able to get the benefit out of the seminar next day. And so my mind was like activating itself and making me more awake. So this is what I did, this exercise. So I turned on the reading light and kept my diary open to a page where I drew a wave. And on top of the wave were floating bubbles. And I focused on my breath and imagined that I was sitting with the river flowing in front of me. I imagined that I'm sitting by the river flowing in front of me. And then the bubbles on the top of the wave were also passing in front of me. I was just watching them go. I didn't need to catch them. I just observed them floating past me. So as I did the meditation, thoughts kept coming up. So every time a thought surfaced, I wrote one word to represent that thought in one of the bubbles and then observed it pass. I did not try to catch it or hold on to it. I allowed it to flow with the flow of the river. I tried to bring the focus back to my breath, an image of floating bubbles on the river. Another to-do item came to my mind, and I wrote a word to represent that in the next bubble to the right and allowed it to float away. So like call, email, bill, grocery. When I thought about a person came to my mind or an issue came to my mind, I wrote a name or a word to represent them and allowed them to float past. The thoughts kept coming, and I kept writing in the bubbles on the next page and the next page. The morning after the first time I did this exercise, I found that I had 49 bubbles, and the last few bubbles were illegible because I had fallen asleep. So next time you find your mind too jumpy to rest at night, open your diary or journal or any piece of paper and make the thought bubbles.